You're happy it's the end of the year, is what you are.
Yeah. All
Is
right, we
wearing a
gonna.
fake tooth transparent?
Yeah. I could take it out now, but then we'd be getting
Hi,
a
Nick.
whole nother level of transparency. And I don't know if I know Derek or Nick well enough or
Oh,
someone.
nice. Nice. Nick's got some fake tooth love for you too, Dave.
Oh, really?
Solidarity.
Oh, look at that. All right.
Wait, are
Nice.
we talking fake teeth? Because I just got one
Yes.
just yesterday.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I'm obviously
Oh,
a little bit overdue with the teeth cleaning, the discoloration
Yeah.
going. So I feel your pain, brother.
dude,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
lean in. That's the MO.
I'm telling you. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. It looks like we've got just enough critical mass, and I'll let folks in as they're coming in. Nice to see folks on camera. Thanks for those of you who are appearing. Happy early New Year. What a 2024 it was for Regen Network development, Regen Foundation, and the community. Regen Network is made up of you. You are Regen Network. So thank you, everyone. For just being present through really exciting and all the global stuff notwithstanding, it was a pretty powerful year for us as an organization, and I think we're feeling quite bullish moving into the new year. So we've got a slideshow and some presentations, but really feel free to take moments. We're going to have a whole section around reflections, and we'd love to have reflections from each of you about what as like a member of Regen Network, what you were most enlivened by in 2024, what you're excited about in 2025, and also just like if you're individually, within your own organization or project that you're excited about, being able to share more about what that looks like, and your own reflection on what regeneration is going to look like for you moving forward. So, awesome. So I'm tend to oh, good. I didn't screw that up. Okay. So here's our agenda today. We'll have some
Hey,
updates.
Case.
Hey, Case, welcome.
Uh,
Uh, we'll go over some network governance, but that'll be quick. Upcoming events will be quick. The registry team put together some really nice slides that we'll go through just to give you some retrospective and some look forwards, and as also around some of the product stuff. Regen Foundation is here. They'll give you a little sneak peek into their past month and maybe some a peek into the future, and then we'll get into some reflections and some gratitudes as we close out the calendar year. Gosh, and people just keep piling in. Here we go. Awesome. So let's keep going here. Awesome. You want to start, Sam? Am I in the right slide? I think this was the right
Yeah.
one. Awesome. By the way, Sam Bennett's the new director of product and registry systems. Big shout to Sam for his continued growth and development here in R&D, and he's going to be guiding our product development and the evolution of our registry system in 2025. So stay out of my DMs and DM Sam. Thanks a bunch.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so for today's call, since it's the last one of the year, I thought I would just share a little bit of the product highlights of this last year, and a little bit about our product direction for the coming year. Yeah, so a lot got done, and making these slides last night made me realize like how long ago January felt, because we really have shipped a ton. And big shout out to Erica for all the designs, for an incredibly small dev team to ship all of this stuff, to all the folks that contributed in just guiding our use cases and really participating in that development process, and to the registry team for really acting as that bridge between the like use cases that everyone has and the actual product development. So yeah, so starting off last January, in February, we launched project pre-financing in our app. And so this was our very first kind of iteration of likely many project pre-financing functions. Essentially, what this allows you to do is use Stripe credit card to just essentially pre-finance a project and buy an estimated number of credits, somewhat similar to a GoFundMe, in that people are kind of just contributing money to the project, and you're getting credits, but we're not actually managing on-chain assets. So yeah, we launched that and did it with the Charmenza project and IHP, ERA Brazil's pilot project. All right, next slide. Shortly after that, in about March, we launched permissionless projects and email-based logins. So until this year, the only way that you could access our app was actually having a blockchain wallet or a Kepler wallet. And so we changed that and allowed people to use their emails to create projects. So today you can log into the app, you can use your email, you can go make projects, and you can actually create data posts as well. Next slide. Yeah, so the data stream was probably one of our most exciting features this year. This is one of the first use cases of people actually using Regen Ledger's data module. So the data stream allows users within the Regen app to host kind of any sort of data. So you could use it for storytelling, you could use it for blog posts, monitoring, verification reports. But essentially, you can upload some files and say whatever you want. And what's happening in the back end is that information is actually being anchored on Regen Ledger. And if you have a blockchain wallet, you can sign it. This, I think, for me, was one of the most exciting milestones since launching mainnet, because this is really the first step towards, Regen's mission of ecological claims and tracking. So we're actually seeing people use that for MRV processes today. Okay, next slide. Cool. This is another really exciting, I would say, product highlight that got started this year, which is the Regen Framework Working Group. So in our conceptualization of Registry 2.0, where we're really shifting towards a more kind of neutral tech-forward registry system, there's a lot of talk about the need for a framework that sits in between the application layer of apps like Regen or C-Tree's application and Regen Ledger. So how do we use common data standards, taxonomies, data types, processes to describe the process of engaging in adopting a land management practice, reporting on it, and getting funding for it that allows interoperability, creation of advanced knowledge graphs, so we can start to query information regardless of the app being used. And so this framework working group, which right now currently involves the foundation, Cambium, so Paul is there, Corey, who left Regen this year, is also still attending, is really working on the early stage process of figuring out what that framework might look like. If folks are interested, they can always reach out and we can add you to the call. Yeah, next slide. This was another really exciting milestone for us this year, was the Terrasos Tech Portal. So R&D was contracted to do a custom deployment of the Regen app in the Terrasos website. So today, if you go to terrasos.app.regen.network, you'll see a fully Terrasos branded version of the Regen marketplace that has all of their projects and all of their credits in both the voluntary and compliance spaces. And this has specific features for Terrasos, so table-specific factors that speak to various features of their methodology and credit calculation. And it's also available in both English and Spanish. So we did localization in deploying this. This was a really exciting milestone for us because one, we got to work with a partner that was really excited about pushing this space and deliver something that was really useful for their use case. And we got to develop a bunch of features that will now be applicable to other partners. So the localization of having it both in Spanish and English will be available in the Regen app in the coming year, as well as some of the other features we developed, like filters. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, and so maybe just to speak a little bit to some product direction that we'll be exploring in the new year. The Terrasos Tech Portal was one of the strategies that Regen is thinking about in terms of focusing on registry development, which is how do we support people in using their existing applications to have access to registry software features? So thinking about, Regen Market doesn't necessarily need to be the home base for everything, but we really want to tailor our solutions to the features and tools that you guys are using right now. And so we're going to be focusing on pushing our kind of like enterprise registry software model, where we're going to be deploying white labeled registry solutions for partners that are interested in having it in their own website. We're really going to focus on API integration. So how can we use existing tools rather than build it ourselves to plug into Regen Registry and Regen Ledger for MRV reporting. And how can we do this all in a way that it is interoperable across the ecosystem? Next slide. Yeah, so really, this next year, focusing on that kind of that middle layer. So if we have Regen Ledger, Regen Registry, and then that top is the application layer, we're really going to be focused on this top tool, which is, how do we create, knowledge graphs that support interoperable reporting across platforms? How do we focus on front-end tools and features for project reporting, transparency, better claim reporting, both on the buy and supply side? And I think that's all I have. Oh yeah, and this is, one of the example features that we've been playing around with, which is, we have for some these credibility cards that currently people are just using to make claims, but how do we actually back those claims with evidence and anchor that kind of stuff on Regen Ledger? So yeah, if folks have questions, they can always reach out or ask them in the chat, and I'll try to answer those.
Yeah, and if you have a quick question now, feel free to ask. If we have time to take a question if anyone's got it. Otherwise, we'll keep moving. All right, let's keep powering through. Network governance. So as a publicly governed ledger, Regen Ledger, and Regen Network being publicly governed, this was what our governance looked like in the calendar year. Not a bunch of activity, and we don't do governance for the sake of governance. There's actually a ton of governance that's going on that's not on chain in this sense. Governance through our friends at Regen Foundation and the work they're doing in the DAO space. Ideally, this next year we'll see with the 0.47 upgrade and COSM, WASM, and DAO starting to make an emergence. So we'll see even kind of more, if you will, sub-governance. But these are at the protocol level governance proposals, and you can see what passed and failed. But I think just keep an eye here. This is just like an interesting benchmark, I think, for me and other folks who are looking to understand how to properly utilize and leverage this public governance feature that we have. It is powerful. It is a way to build trust and transparency and really engage our token holders and institutions, ideally, as they become more engaged to help direct the future of the ledger. And again, this could be anything from a signaling proposal just to get the sentiment of what you'd like to see what you'd like to see the protocol be paying attention to or sharing opinions on, all the way to software upgrades, which many of will come through here as well. So very exciting. You got a sense of where things are going. Oops, looks like sorry, didn't mean to move that. And let's see how this changes in 2025. If there's questions, holler, but this is what we did. Some events we've got coming up. Last year was a really big event year for us. We are often doing some level of product planning around doing our events. So being able to show up at an event like a COP or a Climate Week and being able to launch particular products in our broader effort to gain traction and to be in service to the project developer and buyer communities of ecological assets. These are some of the early events that are likely on the calendar in this coming year. And we'd also just noting, I keep having a vision of activating many of you out there. We've got assets for presentations as representatives, ambassadors of the network. Would love to empower each of you to start presenting your projects through the lens of Regen Network as appropriate, and us being enablers and supporters of doing that, not only giving you promotional support, to drive traffic to your digital or public events or where you're showing up, but also providing you our marketing communications assets and decks. We've got tons of them. So feel free, if you ever are wanting to present in public about your projects that are leveraging Regen Network, don't hesitate to reach out. I guarantee we've got 3 or 4 slides that might be valuable to you, and just being able to tie together the broader movement that you're part of here in the network. Any questions about events? And if not, let's keep moving. Regen Foundation. Austin and Will are here from the foundation. Love to hear from either or both.
Hey all. We just have one slide. It's concise, but the content in it is good. So the links I'll share into the chat afterwards. We had a great year, really, really busy and active year, and particularly in the fall. As a nonprofit, we're also engaging in the fundraising cycle and using that as an opportunity to hone and revisit what the role of a nonprofit is within the larger regeneration ecosystem. And I feel confident to say that the traction in Regen Network has never been stronger, and our position within the larger field has never been stronger. So it's really a question of there's many different partnerships and initiatives that are forming, and so I invite you all to visit these links, but also reflect on what are the kind of public goods, core infrastructure utilities that Regen is building that is well suited for a nonprofit to support. So to basically position the foundation in the next year and to invite questions around that, we've recorded a number of videos and made a package that's effectively like a newsletter. That's all linked here. So I'm not gonna scroll through them or show the videos, but I invite you all to check them out. But yeah, it's really, really exciting. I think that the foundation is extra excited in being a kind of interface or a front door for a broader world of people who are in the regeneration movement, whether that be in law or in governance related to regenerative economics, to interact with the Regen ecosystem. And in that sense, I feel like we're just expanding more and more. So I'll paste links into the chat, and that gives a kind of a little bit more context about where we're coming from. But super excited to get into 2025 and keep going.
Thanks, Austin. Appreciate it. All right, moving on. Sales and business development. James, I got your note. Yeah, if I might have you toggle and screen share after I chat about this. Mine will be quick, so anyhow, a few things on this front. I think Sam already mentioned through the lens of products. I just wanted to flag the growing interest and demand we're seeing for our enterprise software. Again, all of this is in service to being able to originate, govern, and distribute ecological assets like credits and claims. But we have an interesting new pillar that's starting to surface, which is this enterprise version, so powered by Regen. And we're hoping that project aggregators and other registries and other folks basically in the ecosystem in the climate finance industry are increasingly going to be turning to Regen Network, Regen Ledger in our app as core infrastructure for their own goals and objectives. And so I think as a focus point for us and our business development and our sales is being able to surface those types of projects, organizations, institutions seeking the features, the transparency, the auditability, the feature sets, the ability to govern projects that we offer via our software, and aren't interested in necessarily just using it natively in Regen Marketplace or the Regen app, but would like to see it in their own, embedded into their own websites, that are facing their customer base. So stay tuned for more of that. We're building quickly, marketing communications assets, as well as just relationships, as we're organically finding inbound interest. So a very exciting area. The next couple of points, James is here from EcoToken. I think Alex is here also. I would love to have him present just more about this really. I think it feels like it's just taken off and it's such a lovely way is the relationship between EcoToken and Regen Network. And EcoToken is busting open doors across Web3 right now for distributing ecological assets and creating user-friendly experiences no matter what chain you're on. So maybe, James, you want to pick the discussion up, and if you want, I can stop screen sharing. Let me just make sure it's not on the next. Yeah, it's not there. Okay. I can stop screen sharing if you want to share a screen, or you can talk about it.
Sure. Yeah, it was just slide 12, but I think sharing's disabled for me. But yeah, I can just chat about it.
Great.
So the Cello integration is live. Well, retirements are live on Cello. You can see them in the scan at scan.ecotoken.earth. And then the integration with Regen Atlas is done, and they're publishing it this weekend. So that's a really good example of what we're after, is kind of like what Sam was saying on the roadmap there of interoperability, allowing permissionless APIs for anyone on any chain to connect and enable Regen credits and enable their own marketplace. So this is a good example of that on Regen Atlas. Here they are, or I guess you can't see, but basically what you have is the El Global Habitat Bank there, and then you can just purchase in Cello, CUSD, Glow USD. I think Alex did an awesome job and enabled 7 different tokens there. So he's been doing some incredible work on that. And then we're also, we have that same functionality on that Cello has for any marketplace to interact with. And like Regen Atlas was able to integrate it within a week. So it was really quick. It's basically just UI. And now we're live on Solana, Cello, Eclipse, Aptos, as well as Base, Polygon, Arbitrum, and Optimism. So Regen credits can now be bought and tapped into on all those chains. So now we just do the business development angle there. And then also Regen Coin Flip is going live on Clips soon, which is kind of a fun game for the to participate in the airdrop campaign. So if anybody wants to earn the Eclipse airdrop while playing Regen Coin Flip, and you either retire sheep or sheep versus bear credits. And yeah, I think we're gonna tie in the sheep and the maybe City Forest or something to that, and then yeah, you can participate there. So yeah, those are pretty much the main updates.
Great. And then can you any hints on thoughts on 2025 roadmap for EcoToken, and kind of what you're excited about either exploring or is going to be happening?
Yeah, well, really excited to integrate more deeply with Regen. So we'll soon be posting all data from the scan.ecotoken.earth to Regen blockchain on both ends, the purchase as well as the retirement, and working on a validation mechanism for all, so that all validators can validate every cross-chain transaction. And that'll be right at the Regen validation level, so it can really trust the decentralization there. And then just more integrations with more chains, and need to start on the business development angle. And then the big thing is bridging. We're working on basically getting Regen token everywhere. So that's something we've been working on, is bridging to Base, Solana, and then getting eco credits there as well. And Alex said we'll be live on Regen coin flip early. Yeah, soon, very soon.
Yeah, and big shout to Alex from the EcoToken team. He's just smashing code all the time, and it's fun to see all of the work that James and Alex and their teams are doing, you know, in all the DMs with all the chains that are really pretty excited about, you know, Regen Network as the Web3 originator of verified and transparent and high integrity ecological assets. And EcoToken is really supercharging our ability to get this out into across the industry. So big shout out to the EcoToken team.
Thanks. Yeah, Alex is a machine. That's for
He
sure.
is a machine.
He's
Thank you
not
so
hopping on because he got no sleep coding all night.
much. Right on. All right, we'll keep moving. And if we end up on that slide, we can show a couple things. Registry folks, please feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I just want to take a quick moment to note a couple years worth of work with folks that came to fruition in 2024. So it was just a really nice year to celebrate working with all these folks, all the ways that they've supported Regen's growth that we've worked collaboratively with over the last few years. So that was really fun and great to move it on to the new website that the registry has, and we'll now be working in early 2025 to update our handbook and guide to align with the content and taxonomy on all of that. But yeah, fun to see all that come and see the next phase for all of these organizations.
Lovely. Any, and I haven't seen if you've got a next slide. I know somebody's came in late, but anyhow, we'll just move to the next one. Regen Registry updates, new projects.
Yeah, I can speak to some of these and then I can pass we can pass them around. We have a lot of projects coming through from Ecometric on the GHG benefits for crop and grassland systems. So this is a soil organic carbon methodology. These are a lot of projects from the UK doing conservation ag and seeing some really interesting and great carbon gains. Like just dozens of projects that are going to be moving through our system. It's cool to see because it's really kind of challenging us in all the right ways to start to handle scale with both with our process and with software. And it's just a great partner. Love to see things thriving there. And then Howard's here, KCT, just continuing to work on building out the pilot work with their biochar projects. Excited for this next year. I think there have been so many learnings this past year. So really commend that team for just keeping at the deep work. And then Tika, if you want to speak to ERA Brazil.
Yeah, ERA is working on issuing the credits. So they have 3 years worth of data. So for the first year that they've collected data, they are getting those monitoring reports verified and expecting credit issuance in 2025.
Great.
And the last one listed here, if you go back just for a second, is Terrazzo. So we already have the El Global project up and rolling. There's another one that's going to be registered soon, the Agua Dulce project. So this is to what Sam was speaking to earlier, the biodiversity units from Terrazos. So we have this just growing body of different biodiversity projects that speak to the depth and breadth of knowledge and care and geographies that are starting to show up among our partners, and they're the ones doing like the really hard, complicated work in many ways, and it's just really cool to see what everybody's bringing to life.
Lovely. Awesome. Tokenomics. I think this was a slide from last month, but I just kept it just in case. Will, anything you want to maybe share here verbally on just where tokenomics is at? We close out the year.
Yeah, well, I guess I would say we continue to meet weekly, and there's been a lot of good discussion, recent meetings. Certainly the work that James and EcoToken have been heading up have added a lot of richness to the discussion. Yeah, I certainly, if anyone else here wants to add anything about token economics, you'd be welcome to. But the calls continue to be at 11 a.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. And if any of you are interested, reach out and we'll get you on the list here.
Great. All right, so let me just
Could
do a
I,
quick.
before we move into reflections, Dave, I tried to
Yeah.
add a last minute slide. I don't think it updated yet. I want to speak to the year's worth of kind of work and connection around the Eco Credit Builder Lab.
Yes,
I
please.
think, you know, the idea of this space was born out of a lot of foundation and registry conversations, like how to create a distinctive support space for folks to come at whatever point they are in the process, from, you know, just trying to loosely figure out a concept to I'm working through these specific steps, all the way really to like I've successfully done it and I want to tell you how it's gone. And I think that we just really kind of played around with it over the year, and did different topics and different open sessions. We experimented, you know, depending on the size, like lots of different like kind of breakout groups and some methodology co-working time. And my takeaway from that was really like a lot of gratitude for folks that are just really grappling with the realities of this work that they're doing, and that the learnings that came back to us so that we can hopefully do a better job. I feel like that was really beautiful to see over time. It's very much on, you know, on my mind, and I think on our like collective minds, is to continue um, to build these collective support systems so that, you know, we recognize that like we don't have a lot of you know, like all the expertise pockets covered by any means. And so we want to continue to create this like big tent space for workshopping issues, and some of the topics that have been surfaced for 2025, that I have a nice kind of note running for that I think people are really trying to unpack. One is verification, and how can we think of creative solutions or bring in different people to the conversation, so we can start to really problem solve on a lot of levels. Another one was buyers. Can we bring in like a buyer panel and have some kind of like cross-sector engagement and learning? So those kinds of topics I think are really ripe for learning, discussion, and I invite you all to continue coming, and I'm excited to roll that in 2025.
Lovely. Yeah, EBLs, but that was definitely a highlight this past year. So thank you, Austin and Becca and the team for putting that together. Awesome. All right, so this is a chance for us all to just to chat. This is not meant to be a one-way convo between R&D and you all. So really, you know, with Regen Foundation, R&D, community members, would love to hear, you know, and these are just a couple prompts, but really we talk about anything looking back over the course of 2024, what you were excited about, what you're proud of, what you saw as wins for Regen Network or for your own organization or institution. And then what are you excited about moving into the new year? Again, personally, you know, in your own ecological regeneration journey or via Regen Network or your organization. So I'd love to hear. There are no wrong answers. So please feel free to unmute yourself and do some shares, and let's have a little dialogue and enjoy each other. And you know, if you want to layer in a gratitude here and there, that's welcome as well. And if nobody goes first, I'm going to pick on somebody. And I'm just going to do it because I'm sure he's tired and probably needs a break from lots of walking. And that would be Howard, one of our most loyal attendees to the community call and really a longtime friend of the network. Howard, 2024, what was most exciting for you, for Colshin, and what are you looking forward to next year?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to reflect as you. Well, I've said before that I'm most excited about seeing the Regen Network come into its own to begin delivering on its promise, that I saw R&D as perspective, something that's in the works, and now I think it's working. And the continuity of the people on this call They've been around for a number of years and have gelled as a team, and the outreach has become all the more effective and the systems are maturing. So I'm grateful for R&D for its maturity and for hearing regeneration in the conversation in place of mitigation as climate policy. I think people are recognizing what was the premise of the white paper and the founding principle of regen is that doing less harm isn't good enough. We gotta put back. So that is what I'm most excited about going into 2025 is that I think and Culture and Carbon Trust in our vision and mission, I'm really looking to put regeneration front and center and to use community climate resilience as an organizing principle for our biochar projects to be put into the community as a way, first of all, of wildfire mitigation, but most of all, of getting more carbon and vitality into the soil, and to use the whole range of natural climate solutions that are appropriate in our bioregion to build out over time credit classes for agroforestry, for expanding biochar to have lots and lots of use cases, to start to really mature regenerative agriculture so that we can support the farmers in the area. That's not all going to happen in 2025, but I certainly hope that we can, that those foundations are laid and we can move in those directions. So that's really what our strategic plan reflects, and my excitement is driven by the bigger concept of regeneration, and this organization is doing its very best to do it right.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Howard, and for all of your attention and care for the network is too. It was really noticed and appreciated. What about some of our other faces here? Nick or Derek? Either of you have got some thoughts you want to share about personally or professionally what you're excited about this past year or moving forward? Okay, Nick's winding up over here. So Derek, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I'm great to connect with you all. Some of you I know I met Tika recently, and I know Greg over the years. So happy to be connecting to this network. I've been transitioning the last 15 months or so, focused on nature-based solutions. So been working on a restoration project within Indigenous communities, and we're talking to ERA now to maybe join forces, and another biodiversity credits project that I also brought to ERA earlier this year, and then another, I just told Tika, there's also another project I'm not directly involved in, but a Red Plus within Indigenous communities that I'm also trying to introduce to the Regen Network. So yeah, hoping that next year I'll be able to work more closely with the network and partners and some of these different projects, and see how we can collaborate. I'm sorry, I didn't say I'm based in Sao Paulo. I'm working mainly in Brazil, but also some other projects. So mainly some ARR, some agroforestry, and also some silviculture projects as well. So great to meet you all.
Right on. Thanks for sharing, Derek. Nick?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. This is a new group for me. I'm new to the Web3 world, but I'm not at all new to the regen world or tech world. I started my career in tech on Wall Street doing sustainability analytics 20 years ago at the beginning of the ESG sector. And I went on, I've done some cool stuff. I worked for the UN doing disaster response. I worked a little bit in crypto, but I'm completely new to the Web3 world. I posted a long post in the Discord chat sharing a little bit about my story and what I'm looking for. But I believe that disaster response is the best vector for regenerative change on the planet, for a variety of different reasons. And I've been working with AI for the last couple of years, and since Hurricane Beryl 6 months ago, I returned to disaster response and have been working on what it would take to build a new regenerative-based, permaculture aid, permanent aid, disaster response team for the world, built on a lightning fast Web3 tech stack. So I used to work for the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team. I've done some cool stuff, but I'm new to Web3. So
Great.
I'd love to engage with anyone and anyone to talk about Web3 and how we can use it in disaster response, refugee work, humanitarian sector, and generally make Web3 work for the 7 billion people at the base of the socioeconomic pyramid. So
Lovely. Thanks for that vision,
anyone
man.
who wants to chat.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Great. Any other voices out there? Plenty of folks love to hear from.
I'll go ahead and like jump in. It's
Yeah.
just touched on briefly, and it's top of mind a bit because the call happened right before this call, but I'm really excited about the data model and the framework that Regen is building that underpins so much of what we do. And I am feeling particularly enlivened and like motivated around seeing the climate financial sector in its traditional form, like what we see around us and like what's happened in the last 3 months in terms of it being it is deflating. It's understanding that it needs to evolve and change. And thinking through the applications of a framework and a data model that's like the right relation centric, regeneration centric seems like an incredibly smart and powerful thing to do. Um, and so yeah, like between the interface and the application and the ledger, like what does that model look like and how are we structuring this in the spirit of continuing open crediting and also how that informs enterprise relationships? I just feel like that couldn't be more relevant and more urgent. And we're discovering in 2024 like how powerful like developing this framework could be. So I'm stoked to co-build with folks on this call and beyond about that specifically. Um, I feel like maybe, yeah, we're in this sort of like bull trend in the market. Maybe that's a good thing, or it's mixed, but I've felt like Regen has never had more traction than we have right now. I really feel it. And so just on a personal level, like I feel so incredibly motivated and like that the basic concept, like we get everyone is holding it. And like I feel like people get it and it's contagious and it's super exciting. So couldn't be more enthusiastic for 2025, honestly. That's my share back.
Love it. I love that enthusiasm. Yay. Josh, I saw you hop on, at least your visage. Do you want to share anything that's moving for you?
Yeah, sure. I think as many of you know, I just feel a deep and broad sense of gratitude for each of you. It's been amazing getting to share time and build relations, as well as just share in this vision of this community and to be able to better understand the complexity and the breadth of the vision here. It's one that's so badly needed, and I'm just so excited to see the progress and to see where things are going. Austin, you articulate exactly where my heart and mind is at as well, in terms of cohering this space and being at the center of it in so many ways, and being able to serve a much better model for the next systems, the next world that we're building here. So just a lot of appreciation, as well as I see what's being built here very clearly, and I'm happy to serve. And it's been wonderful to do a little bit of every time I get a chance or the right questions come my way that lead to Regen, and somebody says, no, I haven't heard of that. I'm like, oh, well, you're in for a good surprise here. And it's just so much devotion, so much dedication in this group, so much vision. So just happy to see that continue into the new year.
Great. Thank you for being part of this group, Josh. Appreciate it. Sam?
Yeah, I can go. I really want to echo Austin's share, which I think that I'm just really excited about all of the framework and data standard stuff that's happening. I think for those that have really dived into that world, I think that we all realize how unavoidably important this kind of work is, and like how foundational and imminent the world of using metadata and graph-based systems to describe claims and data in not just the ecological space, but all different spaces, and how important it is. And so I think that just working on that with a group of people that are just really excited about that and the potential it has, not just for Regen, but this entire ecosystem is super cool. And it's a lot of work, and there's tons of stuff to dive into. But I think that that was one of the most exciting evolutions for me over this last year, and something that I'm really going to be holding and looking forward to, both personally and professionally, coming into the new year.
Great, thanks for sharing. Other reflections, 2024, 2025, what's moving for you? We got a few minutes left.
We can jump in. I think, yeah, but this year's been huge. I don't even think we scratched the surface with the review. It's always a little challenging because you want to leave space and for dialogue and conversation. But there's just so much that's happened, and super grateful for everybody. R&D, Regen Foundation, the broader community. Eco Token has been doing amazing work. And I think in that, I feel like we just get this glimpse of what the new year is going to hold, which has a lot to do with interoperability and this ability for people to tokenize high quality ecological assets and have them available anywhere in the world with one seamless process, with deep transparency underneath, with the guarantees of, as Austin was putting, right relationship backing them, which is really what makes them valuable instruments in the market. So I'm really excited. There's a lot of stuff brewing that didn't get talked about this. We've had dialogue about bringing the Ethereum virtual machine onto Regen Ledger. There's a major network upgrade getting pushed through by community members. I see Paul on the call. I know he's been running some testing, may or may not want to talk about that. So there's about to be a major network upgrade. There's about to be virtual machine and smart contracting functionality that opens up the doors for people in the Web3 space to be more innovative, to leverage Regen Ledger and to leverage tools. There's this amazing bridge work happening from Eco Token that opens up interoperability. And also, I think I mentioned this in the token economics working group, and I shared this with the R&D team. But, also I think we can do significantly more exciting work as a community with the changing regulatory landscape vis-a-vis Web3 and crypto. And so what becomes possible when R&D and Regen Foundation can be more active in coordinating and communicating about the value of the Regen token and its centrality in forming a new type of living regenerative capital, and how it connects this broad ecosystem of users in generating value. We've never been able to say that publicly. We've never been able to talk about it publicly, but we can start to do that now moving into 2025. And I think that's going to be transformative for all of us. The centrality of having infrastructure, governance, and coordination in this exploration of what it means to have a regenerative form of value and capital expressed in context-specific, place-specific, community-led ways with a commons underpinning it is just really, really exciting. 2020, I couldn't be more excited. I agree with what Austin said, that it's never been clearer what the value proposition is. We've never had more traction. We've never had more clarity. We've never had more commitment and community and engagement. And so it's 2025. I'm super, super amped for 2025.
LFG. Anyone else? Time for one, maybe two. If
Put
anyone
a
else wants to-
question in the chat. I don't know whether that would be an appropriate topic, but Gregory's comments raised, and then the series of comments raised that question. So I really could use some help understanding the difference between eco credits and eco tokens as they're emerging within the ecosystem.
I think that's great clarification.
Well, Eco Token is a business and partner of Regen Network, which has chosen the name Eco Token, and is doing work on interoperability, bridging, marketing of what we commonly refer to as eco credits across different ecosystems like Solana and Celo, Arbitrum, Optimism, to create a native buying experience in the various different sort of ecosystems of the Web3 world, right? Eco credit is the module and the term that we use to refer to these tokenized ecological assets. There has been some conversation about throwing out the term credit and replacing it. I guess token would be another word that we would debate about if that's the right word. So there's a little bit of naming collision there, but hopefully that helps clarify.
It does help.
Yeah. Yeah, super confusing with eco token. We've actually adopted the Regen coin, but we named the company like 3 years ago. So yeah, the basically the plan is to have Regen be the central hub token, and all of the eco credits tie into Regen token. Yeah, so we're working to bridge Regen to make it available everywhere, and then eco credits available everywhere as well, and then Regen benefits from eco credit sales and stuff. But yeah, super grateful to everybody at Regen Network, and so excited to see all the momentum that's happening. So yeah, thanks everyone for that.
Yeah. If I can offer a thought that to I don't know, avoid confusion, but I certainly appreciate sorting out the way your comments did, Gregory. But boy, eco value might be a way to get away from the stigma that carbon credits carry, and the and some of the issues that tokenization raises in people not familiar with Web3. Value, I think, is what we're all chasing in trying to do the work.
Cool. Let's start a discussion on Commonwealth, and let's just upgrade the eco credit module to be the eco value module. I'm all for it. I was stuck in quantification, so I was going to propose that it's the eco quantum or eco quanta module. But I don't think that's good branding.
No. Great. And maybe just to tie out my probably my excitement and my gratitude is really to the network as a whole. Like to see organizations and companies like EcoToken and Colshin and Zarasos and Ecometric and other actors in our space who are choosing Regen Network to build their businesses and their livelihoods is arguably the most bullish thing that you could possibly imagine for what it means to develop a publicly governed ecological ledger and software on top of that. And I think as the more that we can stimulate that in the next year through, frankly, on my side, better communications, better opportunities to connect with each other and to be able to communicate better the value proposition, all of this will become a lot clearer, right? The network effect of Regen Network on each other's value, and bringing value to each other's activities. We are just scratching the surface on how to do that the right way, and how to like activate that so people feel that when they enter Regen Network, something that they co-own and co-govern together, that they can co-opt in the most pure and beautiful sense of the word, then our scale is unimaginable, and what we can do together. And when we adopt that shared mentality of what this is meant to be, this is not about R&D. It's not about Regen Foundation. It really is about the network itself. So as we move into 2025, just wanted to give a big shout and thank you to the entire R&D team and the Regen Foundation team I get to work with most closely. Really see all of you and your work and all the hard fought wins that we've had this past year, and really excited about this 2025 and all that will bring. So with that said, I'm going to tie up the last community call of 2024, and may we go forth and prosper in the new year, and everyone be safe and have a nice holiday.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.